Hi, this is Nilgün Zahour from SM JUROR, and today we're going to be looking at the juror misconduct issues in the case of State versus McCurry, which is out of North Carolina. Some points that I want to highlight that we're going to be discussing are the allegations of a trial court's failure to adequately investigate a juror misconduct claim, and the inability of the reviewing court to substitute its judgment for that of the trial court. In this case, defendant was convicted of second-degree murder. On appeal, he argued that juror misconduct occurred during the trial and that the trial court failed to adequately investigate it. During jury deliberations, the defendant's mother and uncle overheard a conversation between a juror and the boyfriend of Derek Reynolds' sister during a break. The trial court questioned the mother and uncle, who indicated that the conversation was about 2 to 3 minutes, ending with the boyfriend saying, "I'll see you in church." After questioning defendant's mother and uncle, the trial court determined that there was no misconduct or prejudice and that no further investigation was needed. Now, the standard of review is an abuse of discretion, and an abuse of discretion occurs only where a trial court's rulings were manifestly unsupported by reason or were so arbitrary that it could not have been the result of a reasoned decision. When we look at a trial court's investigation of juror misconduct, we see that when there is a substantial reason to fear that the jury has become aware of improper and prejudicial matters, the trial court must question the jury as to whether such exposure has occurred, and if so, whether the exposure was prejudicial. Now, if they find that those two components are met and that there is some indication that some prejudicial conduct has taken place, then an inquiry into possible juror misconduct is generally required. Now, the holding in this case was that there was no error in the trial court's failure to question anyone else about the juror misconduct issue. The trial court did investigate the potential juror misconduct and found that there was none, and the appellate court concluded that the defendant received a fair trial and remanded the case to the trial court on a different issue related to sentencing. Now let's look at some specific facts which were pivotal to the outcome of the case. First, despite the defendant's contention to the contrary, the trial court did investigate the juror misconduct issue when it questioned the defendant's mother and uncle about the 2 to 3 minute conversation that they overheard. It then found that there was insufficient evidence to warrant further investigation. So again, if we go back to those two components, the first is that there was no evidence that the jury was exposed to any sort of outside information that related to the trial. And second, that there was nothing prejudicial about the conversation. But the trial court did investigate the matter. Second, neither defendant's mother nor his uncle testified that they heard anything in the juror-boyfriend conversation about the case or any matter related to the case. This is important because if it's not related to the case, then it can't be prejudicial. So the conversation did not relate to the trial. And then finally, with respect to the reviewing court, the appellate court said perhaps the better practice would have been for the trial court to have questioned the juror and Derek's sister's boyfriend regarding the precise nature of the alleged conversation, but the appellate court said that based on the record, they could not see that the trial court abused its discretion with regard to this issue. And really, what I want to point out here is that the reviewing court cannot substitute its judgment for that of the trial court. And that's it for our case law analysis of the juror misconduct issues in this case. Again, this is Nilgün Zahour from SM JUROR. Thanks for watching, because the only evidence you want the jury to consider is in the courtroom. See you next time.